Hey there. I got the inspiration for this ring from Candy Johnson. She's the makeup guru on YouTube that I watch, even though I don't wear makeup. But anyway, so she has this little plastic turquoise bow-shaped ring that she wears all the time, and I thought it was really cute. But I can't find it online, so I decided to try to make it, and obviously I don't know how to cast plastic, but thought maybe I could do it with leather. To do this, you're going to need the leather, a ruler, and a tape measure, scissors, a chalk marker. This is a wheel, makes a finer line than just a chalk pencil type thing that I had the other day, and some craft glue. You'd probably want to get something that's specifically made for leather, but I had this jewelry and metal glue and I used it and it seemed to work just fine. And then a pencil and some graph paper. So I'm going to show you how to make the template for your ring, and this is something that you'll just have to figure out for yourself depending on what you like. Like I made this one a very smallish bow, but you could make it a bigger bow or however you want to do it. So the measurements that you're going to need are for the height of the bow, which is this distance here, the width of the bow across your fingers, how wide you want it to be across your fingers, the height of this pinched in section, so when you tie a bow it's got a little pinched in section. There's a tab on the ends of this bow. You can't see them because they're hidden, but those, I'm going to call those the securing tabs. Then you're going to need the circumference of the band, so what your ring size is in inches, and then the length of this little wrap that goes around the bow. So we're going to sketch out a really quick template, and then I'm going to cut it out of the paper and show you how to put the bow together. So for example, I've got 1-inch grids on my paper here. I don't know if you can see them on my grid paper here. So for example, if you want your bow to be 1 inch high, okay, and you want it to be 2 inches wide across your fingers. So I'm going to take this ring off. So for example, if I put the 1 on my middle finger here, so the bow would be from that end of the ruler to here, and then 1 inch high at the edges here, at the points of the bow. So I'm going to do a 2-inch square, or a 2-inch by 1-inch box. Okay, and this is going to be the center of my bow. And then because you need to wrap the bow around, we're going to add another box onto either end. Okay, and then where do we want our pinched in section? So if I move in 1 square, that means our pinched in section is going to be 0.6 inches, a little less than 3/4 of an inch. And you need to duplicate the pinched in sections on the very ends that you've just drawn here. Okay, and then you're going to need the securing tabs. Now, it's easy if you make your securing tabs the same width as your pinched in sections, but it's really going to depend because your securing tabs are going to be the same width as your band. So if you don't want a band, like this band is 1/2 inch, but if you don't want, a really wide band, then you can change your sizes. You just got to play with it, and that's why I prefer to work with the paper first, because you can make your changes to the paper and then you're not wasting your leather. So I'm going to make it simple and keep my securing tabs the same width as my pinched in section here. So I'm going to just do a securing tab that's 2 squares wide, and since I had 3 squares, for my pinched in section, so 0.6 inches high and 0.2 inches wide. So now from here to here to here, that's going to be the arc of your bow. Alright, so now that we've got our basic dimensions of the bow part itself, you just want to draw in the bow shape, and what you want to do is just draw a smooth matching arc on all four sides here. So however you want to do that, with like tracing paper or folding it in half and whatever you want to do, but you just want to make sure that this is the same on all four sides. And the reason you want to do that is because when you fold the bow, you may end up with like a piece of the bottom part of the bow peeking out, and just to keep it, you know, nice and neat looking. So obviously this is not symmetrical just because I'm doing a quick drawing, but you would spend more time drawing this. So now the circumference of the band is going to be your ring finger size. So you can take your tape measure and just wrap it around whatever finger it is that you like to wear your ring on, and then wherever this little tab matches up on the other side. So just for the sake of ease here, I'm going to just make this diameter, or this circumference, 2.6 inches. So from the edge of your securing tab, that's your ring size, not from here, but from the edge of the securing tab. So we're going to go out 2.6 inches, and that's going to be the diameter of the ring. Okay? Now, for the length of the bow wrap, it's going to be roughly 3 times the height of your pinched in section. I would err on the side of longer than shorter, because you can always trim off what you don't need. So this is going to wrap around from the ring band all the way around the top and on the other side. So you want to make sure that you've got enough to at least match up at some point inside of the ring. So since my securing tabs were 3 squares high, so that's 0.6 inches, we're going to make this 1.8 inches high, so that's going to be 9 squares. There's 3, 6, and 9 right up there into my words. And then the same width as your securing tabs. Okay? So again, all these measurements are just a starting place for your template, and again, you can change this template to, you know, however big you want to make your bow. If you want like a really tiny, thin little bow, or if you want an even bigger bow, it just depends. So you'll just decide how you want to do it. And I've already got a sample that I've cut out, and for the purposes of a fit, you can just tape this together. So it's going to go together like this. That's your center piece of your center of the bow. You're going to fold under one side right there, and where these two pieces meet, you're going to put a drop of glue between, and same thing on the other side. Meet that over so that your securing tab, I don't know if you can see that, the securing tab is 2 squares wide. Where I've got it crossing over the center of the bow is 2 squares wide, so you want to have that at least match up. And then the same on the other side. Okay. Then this part, which is your ring band, you're going to wrap it around and roll it underneath. Okay. Now you're just going to take this part and fold it over the bow, and inside, underneath, so it's going to go to the inside of your band here. Now, just because this is paper and not the leather's about 1/16 of an inch thick, so you'd have less of this sticking out. But if you did have a lot of this sticking out on your leather bow, you could just cut that off before you glue it down, so that it doesn't show. So basically, you could take this bow now, this paper bow, put it on your finger, and see if you like how it looks, because that's about the size that your leather ring is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and make a cleaner version of this template, and I'm going to make a bow ring out of this lime green leather because I already have one in the magenta. Alright, here is the template I was working on. Well, it could be yesterday now. I didn't finish this last night. So, and then here is my cleaned up template. You can see that I basically just drew this one line right here the way I wanted it to be, and then I just folded over my paper and took the back end of a pair of tweezers and just scrubbed over it like this until when I flipped it over back open I had a shadow of a line there that I traced over, and then I just folded it up, scrubbed it again, folded it down, then I went over this line and this line again really heavy, folded it in half over to here and scrubbed both lines, and then I had this line and this line. So however works easier for you, if you just want to do another method like a tracing paper or something like that, but I found this worked out pretty good for me, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and I'll be right back. Alright, now here is my cutout template, and what I did after I cut it out was I just took and erased around the edges because I'm using a lighter colored piece of leather, and when I mark around this I didn't want my pencil lead to stain my leather. So all you need to do is just lay down your template, and it might help if you have like some double-sided tape, or you can just take a piece of tape and roll it around. I'm going to stick that on the back just to kind of hold it to the leather so it doesn't shift while I'm tracing around it. And one more right there. Just find the spot where you want to cut your ring out of. I'm going to kind of roll it to get that fold out of it. Okay. Now I'm going to put it as close to the bottom as I can just to maximize my leather, but not all the way at the bottom, because you want to be able to trim this shape, and if you have it right at the edge it's going to be hard to trim that shape. I'm going to do one more little piece of tape up here. Okay, so just make sure that that's not got any buckles in it, so that when you draw your shape it's true to your template. And I'm going to use this little chalk wheel. You can use any tailor's chalk or something like that, but I like this because it's got a real fine edge on it. I don't know if you can see right here the yellow powder. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tracing around, and I'll be back in a minute.